The following opinions are 99% factual.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
Boom! Hello, everybody. Welcome to Average Joe's Saturday, January 25th. We almost got the first month of 2020 out of the way, Merle. Thank you for joining us. Go ahead and give us a like and a share. I'm trying to remember to say that. You know what? Before we go any further, Merle, we kind of discussed this, and I forgot to put it on the poll. Maybe you could go ahead and put that up for us. Would you rather, for our loyal, beautiful followers out there, I don't want to say followers, our teammates, because the followers are the worst. So, but yes, would you rather, what's more convenient for you, a Friday evening show or a Saturday evening show? What better fits your schedule? Because me and Merle are kind of, we usually do it around this time, but we've been going back and forth between Friday and Saturday, and we're trying to see what fits people's schedules better. Would you rather have a Friday night show or a Saturday night show? Yes, go ahead and give us a like and a share, and give us some comments if you have any questions. I'm doing a new thing where you can ask any question you want about anything in life, and I will give you the most pure, unadulterated advice, and it'll be right and it'll be correct. So I'm trying to develop this kind of sage brain. So Merle, how have you been, sir?
Man, I have been fantastic, Nate. It's been a fun week. So
a fun week, exciting.
A fun week.
Well, yeah. We were off last week, so we're back here this evening. And Merle, what has been so exciting about your week? Because it's the third week in January, and this week was what's the thing on the calendar about? Statistically, it was that we had the saddest day of the year.
Really?
This last week. Yeah, because it's the least amount of sunlight, and people are still, that first couple weeks of January, you're still riding that holiday high, that hanging out with family, presents, fun times, memories, and then once you get back into the about the third week of January, your employer expects you to work. The first 2 weeks, they're like, all right, we get it. We get it, but okay, it's a new year. We need to start working again. So, and I have a great employer; they are the best. So, but yeah, Merle, why was your week so lovely when the rest of the world was experiencing a come down from the holidays?
I don't know. I just had a good week. It was my first full week back to work. So it was the first 5 days I'd been back to work. I felt good. I was energized. You're right. I do remember that day when it was dark most of the day. I'm like, ooh, I think this is the longest day where we experienced darkness. And I didn't. Yeah. So, but that did not affect me. I was good to go. I was happy. I had a pep in my step, Nate. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. And you made direct eye contact with the audience. So that's how I know you're serious.
Right. Yes.
You looked right up.
I looked right up.
Son.
We're trying to get a little bit more professional, right? 1% less worse each and every time.
That's right, man. And
trying to make that connection.
Yes, and that is we are. I don't know. We've done maybe 20 episodes. I don't know how many since we've kind of rebooted again. Maybe more.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We've probably got 25 under the belt now. I mean,
okay.
Yeah.
So we're and we didn't make a declaration until probably episode 15 that we were going to be less worse. So
right. That's
we're we still have a little bit of a room until you guys can start judging us. You get that? Until you can judge us. What do you guys think you are? The impeachment trial people? You can't judge us.
Can't judge me.
Okay, so Merle, let me get my trusty notebook out, and it is filled up with all kinds of fun things that I have written down to discuss.
We are back to the 80s where we're using a notebook. That's okay. That's how you roll. I like it. It seems to work better for the show.
You know, it's funny you say that. I was listening to a former CIA agent this week on a podcast, Mike Baker, and he was discussing that he still has his ends with his colleagues, even though he's retired. So there is a real discussion going on between paper messages because of the problem with Huawei and China and Russia, Ukraine hacking, all these different things. But the technology is getting to the point where the hackers their software is just as good as security software. So they're talking about going back to paper notes, hand-delivered notes to prevent the enemy getting stuff, so don't make fun of my notebook, dude. Because guess what? It's not on my phone. Nobody can hack the show notes for tonight, which are so messy, but I've got them. I can read it.
Hey, if it's good enough for the CIA, it's good enough for average Joes.
That's exactly right. I'm going to put a little Post-it note on my computer that says, look here. So I can remember to look at the camera instead of look at the screen.
Right. Yeah, you're just fascinated looking at yourself.
Yeah, it's going to have an arrow and it's going to say, don't be a jerk. And I can't even find it on there. Right.
Don't be a
right there.
Don't be a, what is it? Misogynist pig. Look.
Misogynist pig. Oh my gosh, dude. The patriarchy of podcasts is disgusting. Okay, Merle. So you had a fun week. First week back at work. My week was good. Me and my daughter, I think, had our first real disagreement this week. It was a couple of eye rolls. She got dressed for school and then took her clothes off and put her pajamas back on. And it was, excuse me, it was just it was a moment. So we're getting, me and my daughter are being 1% less worse every day as well. But yeah, man, I'm just excited for teenage years. She'll be 9 here, and it's just so exciting to look at what's to come. And when I look at a savvy veteran like yourself, a man who's been through the waves and the turbulence of the ocean of teenage emotion, I know that I can do it because you still look pretty good. So if you can do it, I feel like I can do it as well. And that's not a shot against you.
I got it, but just look. I'm trying to see. Yeah, you've already got gray in your beard. I mean, I didn't have that until last couple of years, so that's all.
Dude, Chris's I got gray in my beard at the age of 22.
Yeah, you're chewed. It's not made it up to my head yet, so.
I'm going. I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm losing my hair. I just buzz it down now. I can no longer style it or anything because the top is just slowly eroding away like maybe like a patch of bad grass on the green, like on a golf course.
Right.
You walk up to a course and you're like, oh, that hole looks great. But then you see that patch around the green just starting to fade back. Right. So that's your boy. I'm now Patch Adams.
Yeah, I get you. And, I'd like to understand the physiology of the whole thing. Why you lose hair on your head and you gain it all over the rest of your body, like your back and your ear. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's.
Yeah. And I think there's more. It has more to do with, you got stress is a part of it. But from what I've read up on, people who it's like almost 100% DNA and genetics. So you can't do anything about it, man. You're just now going into the future with CRISPR and the different things, maybe one day I can have a son who I can program him to look like, some kind of sculpted God. And I can, just be the old dad who, because of our sacrifices, son, you get to look like that. So yes, let's see what else happened to me this last week. I tried to get back in the gym, exercise a little bit. Your boy was lazy through the holidays and I felt it. It's weird how you can take like a month off and just Next thing you know, you're breathing heavy, and the person next to you is like, "Dude, do I need to call the ambulance? Are you okay?"
Right.
So yes, I just came from the gym earlier. So yeah, good start to the year. You know, getting into the swing of 2020. Let's see. Okay, so let's jump into our poll real quick. Let's go back. Okay. Do you get your toothbrush wet before you brush your teeth? Before you put the toothpaste on?
Absolutely. That's the only sane way to brush your teeth.
85% said yes. Now,
There you go.
I have uncovered new evidence based on this discussion from people. And science is telling us that if you put toothpaste on a dry toothbrush, that you actually, and then you brush, that you actually loosen more dirt and plaque and all that stuff because it's drier. It's more coarse, if you will. So they say that putting the toothpaste on a dry toothbrush actually helps with cavities and with getting your teeth cleaner. So I've started to do that, and I don't know. I think it makes sense. So it's a little weird at first because, you know, when you're wet for 35 years and then you start dry, it's a little different, you know.
Okay.
So yeah, 85% of the audience said that they get their toothbrush wet before they put their toothpaste on.
So that means 9 out of 10 dentists recommend brushing your teeth with a dry toothbrush. What it sounds like that means.
Essentially, yes, that's
Wow.
what they're saying. You know,
Hey, you heard it. You heard it here at Average Joe's. We just did a good public service announcement. Rock
that's
on.
right. 9 out of 10 dentists recommend putting toothpaste on a dry toothbrush.
Yeah, and we just made that 9 out of 10 up. So, but it's got to be true.
We did not make that up. That is fact. Remember, did you hear the opening? 99% of the following opinions are facts.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Merle, this next question actually spurred some debate within my group chat of friends and some people at work. We had some good conversations on it.
No.
Do you trust anybody under the age of 17 with opinions?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that spurred a lot of chat or a lot of, you know,
30,
chit-chat.
yeah. Yes, 35% of our loyal audience said yes, and 65% said no. So it kind of got into, you know, what values an opinion. I had one friend talking about how they would trust a kid's opinion, or they would ask for their opinion and little things, but not on a big thing. And then my friend said, well, if you don't trust them with a big thing, why even listen to their opinions? So what I don't know, as society evolves, we become more in tune with kids, you know, children are the future and stuff. Because when I was growing up, you just didn't. It didn't matter what you thought. It didn't matter what you said. You don't have any kind of say in the situation. But I heard some compelling arguments from people talking about, you know, how it helps them be a better parent, just talking to their kid and asking them what they think about a situation. Oh no. I'm getting that phone call from my daughter. She's hit me with that FaceTime, interrupting the stream. I had to hit her with the ignore. Sorry, Peter. It'll be okay. So yeah, what do you think? When discussing things, how often do you ask Carissa what she thinks about things?
Well, I mean, and I think our boy Poppy, I think he was the guy who says it's okay to listen to someone's opinion because we're all entitled to opinion. However, I mean, you know, I am more apt to listen to Carissa's opinion, I believe, than Renee is. But I mean, let's make no mistake. It is in a household, it is a dictatorship, right? A dictatorship works well in a household like this, right? I mean, it just does. And when you're dealing with a preteen who has, you know, emotions are running high, hormones are all whacked out, I will listen to your opinion. But when it's said and done, it may or may not have any validity in the next step on, you know, the decision that might be made. Does that make sense?
It does. It does make sense. It just seems like as we evolve as a society, if you will, children's opinions are more, I don't want to say weighted, but I wouldn't, like, growing up, I would have never had these kind of conversations with my parents. And I think it's good, but I think we have to be careful where, you know, adults and children are different. And to value an opinion of a child is different than taking it seriously, like Poppy said.
Right.
So, but yeah, that spurred on a lot of conversation. So
Yeah.
it was pretty cool. I originally said no, and then I kind of changed it to yes. So I don't know, it was exciting. But the next question: do you listen to AM or FM radio? 41% said AM. 59% said FM.
That is a little shocking. That's a little shocking.
Why?
Well, I mean, mostly what is on AM is talk radio, and the same station, same content can be listened to on FM, if you know what I'm saying, because we have a radio station here that has an FM and AM station. And of course I listen to the FM station because it's crisper. You can hear a lot better. I mean, it's definitely a better sound, and it has to do with, I don't know all the science behind it, but you can receive an AM signal farther away from the tower, but again, you lose that quality. So I like FM for quality. And I used to listen to AM when there was talk radio only on AM, but now I can pretty much well get the same content when I'm in the car on FM that I would listen to.
Now what kind of content are you like? Because I'm confused by that. The only thing anything on FM, I don't ever hear discussions. Charlemagne, the Breakfast Club, he's a guy I listen to. He's on 102.9 in the mornings, and they have like discussions, talking things, but it's still kind of but that's a morning show. But I still think that people are. Oh, Peanut hit me again with the FaceTime. Let me text her and just let her know.
Right.
But it seems like AM was always talk or sports talk or politics, and then FM was different. So was music, I thought more people would vote FM, but I think that the amount 41% listen to AM radio, I think that shows either the decline in the music industry, or the fact that people want more conversations and they want to hear. They want to, learn more, because you really don't listen to music unless you're hanging with your buddies and you hear a song and you guys start talking or whatever. But
right.
I think that shows the thirst, if you will, for conversation and expanding ideas in this country.
Right. Yeah. Well, and like you said, I mean, so WHIO is a channel that's on here, and you can get the same talk on FM and AM, but you are right. If you want more talk radio, you have to go to AM. If you want more news, all the time, you have to go to AM. So, but I am with you. I'm kind of shocked because usually when I'm in the car though, I mean, I just want entertainment, right? I'm not trying to listen to the news unless there's something big going on. So I tend to listen to FM, but I'm really shocked that more people, that's almost half, 40% listening to AM. So, yeah, it would be interesting. Maybe that's the next poll you need to put up is, why are you listening to AM over FM, to see what people say, because you can get some old music on AM that you can't get on FM, right? I mean, you can get gospel and stuff like that you're never going to find on the FM dial.
Right. Yes, that is true. So maybe that has to do with it, because I know NPR has an AM station, so I know some people listen to that. I think that if a radio station was smart, they would pay for the rights to broadcast people's podcasts on AM radio stations. I don't know why they, I think, we'll put that up to a podcast poll. Cause I think, the younger generation, my generation particularly, I listen to podcasts all day, and I know many people who do. I'll throw on the radio with the kid in the car. We'll dance and sing, but I think that's the main reason people listen to FM or AM. But you also have, Reds games, sports. I listen to 700 a lot. So, but okay, we're done with old time radio. What is this? 1985? Oh my gosh, get out of here. Okay, would you rather live in Antarctica or the Sahara Desert? And 67% said Antarctica. How did you vote on that? I took the cold. I'd rather put more layers on than live in the Sahara. The heat just gets you, but you can always get warmer, but you can only get so naked.
Yeah, I think you're correct. I mean, and who likes to sweat anymore? I mean, unless you're doing a good workout. I mean, yeah, I picked Antarctica too, because I mean, you could like you said, you can stay warmer. It's easier to get warmer than it is to get cooler. Because like, yeah, you're right. You can only get so naked, right? I mean, so
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah, people who want to live in the Sahara Desert, you're a little bit too. Just unfollow us.
Right.
See,
Hey,
start
so you're-
marketing yourselves, make that money. Okay, Mark, that's true. You know what? I need to get out and contact some AM stations, and maybe we can get our show played at like 3 a.m. And during that dead air time, we can just say, "Hey, just get us going," so we can pay them to play us.
Right. Well,
there we go, Merle.
My boy Nick that was on a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
His Above the Norm, it actually does get broadcasted on a radio station in was it North Carolina or South Carolina? I think he's in North Carolina. So he
Right.
does.
Yeah.
So he does the podcast, and he records it and then puts it on his website. But it is broadcast live down in Wilmington.
You know what? There's hundreds of stations that we could that are just sitting there unused. So maybe we need to hack into the AM radio system and start playing our show. And then we can take requests. Go ahead.
Oh, well, we probably could do that. The problem is when you do that, you have to be so scripted because there's certain breaks and things that have to be taken for
Right.
commercials. And I know that's one of the things that, I mean, you start getting on a roll and it's like, oh, we got to stop now, get ready for a commercial. We'll be back. And just,
that's true, because when you have and that's why people are like podcasts so much. And that's why people are not watching TV anymore. They're watching Netflix or Hulu because, you want that long form, that streaming conversation, that binge watch of ideas and listening. Okay. Is hiring Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer morally acceptable? 60% of the audience said yes. And that made me upset. I'm really sad. I voted no. I don't think that is morally okay to hire somebody, to pay somebody money who covered up child sex trafficking. I don't think that's okay, Merle. Now, I know you voted yes. I was very curious on that.
Well,
and why is that?
Let's face it, Epstein lawyer, he's a good lawyer. I mean, that's like O.J. Simpson's lawyers, right? Who got him off murder. Yeah. I mean, if I need a lawyer, I want a very good lawyer because I need him for a specific reason. So, hey, I need a good lawyer who can get me out of trouble. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all.
Fair enough. I think so. This spurs from Donald Trump hired Alan Dershowitz, who represented Jeffrey Epstein back in his was it like 2004 originally when Epstein got convicted or something. And shout out Alan Dershowitz. He got Jeffrey Epstein a pretty sweet deal. When Epstein he got his charges. He was originally charged with child pornography and sex trafficking of minors. And Alan Dershowitz got his plea deal down to, it was a misdemeanor, and he got to leave the jail every day. So he didn't even have to stay at jail. He just had to check in every once in a while and say, hey, I'm still okay. But no, man, it's not okay to morally do that. As a criminal or as a citizen, yes, I want to hire the best lawyer, and I want you to lie. I want you to do whatever you can to cover up my crime. But what I won't do, no, that's somebody else.
Oh, okay.
But not that, man. Especially if you're innocent, just get yourself a lawyer that's not tied to morally. That's not okay with me, Merle. I'm really sad, man. I didn't know that you were such a supporter of Jeffrey Epstein getting off the hook.
No, that doesn't mean I'm a supporter of Epstein getting off the hook. I'm a supporter of, hey, I need a good lawyer. And hey, if you got the skills and talents to help me, I want the best I can get, right? Because let's face it, if I'm in trouble and I need a lawyer, I'm innocent. And look, I'm throwing that out there right now because I'm not breaking the law. Now, granted, there's that, I don't know if you've ever seen that book about 3 felonies a day, where there's so many crazy laws in the book that on an average, the average American, commits 3 felonies a day. But besides that, like flushing your toilet more than 4 times or whatever, some of these crazy, cities and county municipalities, crazy laws they have. But so, yeah, if I need a lawyer, it's because I'm innocent and I want the best lawyer because I don't need to go to the pokey.
That's a good point. And we all know that the government wants that money. So they're going to, even if they think you're innocent, they're going to try and get you as guilty. There's so many circumstances where someone was innocent of a crime and they were thought, well, I'm innocent, I didn't do it. I'll just get a public defender, or I'll just pay this lawyer to, and then next thing you know, you're locked up and you're like, wait a second, what happened? I didn't do this. So yeah, I guess I can understand that. Maybe I'll change my mind on that. Okay. Do you look at your poop before you flush it? 67% said yes. So, how did you vote on that, Mr. Merle?
So if you listen to your doctor, I think your doctor tells you to do that, so you know what's going on internally. So, I mean, all joking aside, I think it's probably healthy, because if you're not examining your fecal output, you may not know what's going on inside. So, I mean, because they say, if you're pooping black, that means you're bleeding internally. So, I mean, if you got hemorrhoids, you'll see red blood. But if you see black in your stool, that means there's some internal bleeding and you need to go to the doctor. So if you don't examine the fecal matter, how are you going to know what's going on?
Well, you have to examine it. And I always examine it because I've noticed that when I eat certain food, I have more of a Dairy Queen soft serve texture. But when I eat and that's when I eat a lot of meat, maybe like some steak and bacon or whatever. It's more of a runny consistency. When I have a bunch of vegetables or I eat healthier, it's more of a solid log kind of running out. So, but yeah, I thought that was I don't know who doesn't look at their poop. Plus, when you have an awesome one, dude, don't you take a picture and send it to your friends?
That must be a generational thing.
Have you ever gotten a picture of a poop?
So I have taken a picture of a poop only to show that but it wasn't, hold on, stay with me here. It wasn't my poop. Okay. I was at work, and when I walked, we used to have a mad pooper who did some crazy stuff. Yeah. And so it was only to collect the evidence to show certain people that, hey, look, this is what's going on, because they had destroyed the bathroom. And I'm like, oh no, nobody's going to believe this. So we got to capture the evidence. So, but I've never taken pictures of my own fecal.
Have you ever received a picture from somebody of an impressive poop?
No, and don't ever send me. Don't ever send me.
You're getting them now. I don't take the giant ones, but man, I got some buddies, dude, and it makes me I'd say about maybe once a month I get a picture where I'm just like, dude, stop it, man, that's disgusting. Don't send me that. But yeah, man, when you squeeze out an impressive one, you kind of have to. Okay, so, but see, I've gotten hip to the courtesy flush, so it makes me upset when, but when it's just by myself, yeah, I got to see what's going on down there.
Ron says there's a website called ratemypoo.com, so.
Nice. We'll have to, maybe we'll have to get on there, see if we can get some people, guest on from Rate My Poo and ask them some questions about, man, now I just want to go there right now and pull it up and pull up some pictures. Okay, let's see. So some of our let's do some sports news real quick. I saw that Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback of the Chiefs, who they play the 49ers in the Super Bowl upcoming, they did a piece on him where he spends a lot of his time in the offseason helping veterans, disabled veterans and homeless veterans build homes. So shout out Pat Mahomes, which is hilarious because his last name is Mahomes and he builds my homes. Let's see. Antonio Brown was arrested for attacking a moving van. They came and started to help him move some stuff, and then he threw some rocks at him, like some kind of Libyan, I don't know. Who throws rocks at people, man? You don't stone people anymore. But yeah, he was arrested, and I heard a very good, interesting point. Have you ever dealt with a moving company? I can understand why somebody would throw rocks at them. Sometimes they can be kind of difficult. So I hadn't heard that take from that one, and somebody brought up a good point. So good job, Antonio Brown, for staying in the news. Did you see the new Penn State accusation thing?
It depends on what you mean by new. I remember some accusations a week or two ago.
Yeah, about the football team and hazing, and
Hazing,
some different
yeah.
things going on.
Yes,
Yeah,
I did
yeah.
see that.
So I was reading that article, and man, there was some weird stuff going on. So I don't know what it is about Penn State and boys' butts, but it seems like there's some kind of a tradition going on.
Well, in
let's see.
college football, I'm sure every team experiences some level of hazing because, like you said, they're boys and they're stupid. Because even in the military, despite what you may hear, there's still some hazing that goes on today. I mean, when I was in the service, especially during like boot camp and what we call AIT. But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, some of it is almost sexual perversion, almost it sounds like, but. Yeah, Penn State, Franklin, I'm sure he's trying to nip this in the butt. No pun intended.
Ah, nice. So I think he actually wants the pun. Let's see. Nope, not show. Okay. Yes, James Franklin, dude, that's probably walked into that and just wasn't very excited to hear that come out because, once you get that necklace put around you of boys' butts, man, the pun is going to come forever.
Yep.
Did you watch the Aaron Hernandez documentary on Netflix?
I did not. I saw that it was on the Netflix, but I would like to go see it. A lot of people that at work who's watched it said it was really good.
It was really good. I don't feel bad for Aaron Hernandez, but man, I feel bad in the sense that the man is no longer with us anymore. He killed himself in his jail cell, much like Jeffrey Epstein. But he, it just makes me sad that the man is no longer with us. And now the whole world thinks that, he had these secret love affairs with his teammates and people in jail. And I'd be so pissed, man, if something happened to me and then the world was like, oh yeah, did you know that Nate secretly liked it? And like, oh no, like it just makes me sad. But
Right.
I think that was all a ploy because the one guy in the documentary who said he was his quarterback, then he was this little twink from Connecticut. But him and his dad were on the show just given the worst. They didn't give any detail. I mean, they basically just were on there. It's like they were on there for money because they were the only ones said it. No, they couldn't find anybody else to say it. And then when you go back after the documentary came out, a lot of people exposed this guy and said he was on the team, but he wasn't even the quarterback. He didn't even play. Yeah, he was there, but we never saw it. So I don't know. It's kind of sad, but yeah, Aaron Hernandez's chick, man, his fiance and the mother of his kid. Shout out to her, man. She's that old have your man's back, man. Aaron Hernandez murdered her sister's boyfriend, and she stuck by Aaron Hernandez. So shout out her.
That's right.
She's that stand by my man.
That's right.
Let's see okay. Shout out Seth Tyson, the goalkeeper from Fairmont High School. He signed his college intent letter. He got a scholarship to play soccer at Urbana University. So shout out Seth. Good job and keep that grind going. And I have the wokest take of the week. And do you remember our buddy Eli Apple, the cornerback from Ohio State?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So his mother is his agent. And she had the wokest sports take of the week, and I'm going to give you that now. So the NFL announced the NFL draft is in Las Vegas, and the draft stage, they're going to have it at the Bellagio there in the fountain. And a little rowboat thing is going to take people when they're drafted out to the stage out by the fountains. So they have a boat going back and forth, taking out the people who are drafted to take pictures and stuff. Looks pretty cool. So Eli Apple's mom, she said, boats taking black people to white owners. Where have we seen this before? And I laughed so hard. So I don't know if she was being serious, but she clearly is mad woke. So yeah, shout out the NFL for bringing back what's that show? The movie where they brought the black folks over, the Roots, is it?
Oh yeah, Roots with Kunta Kinte back in like 70s or 80s.
Yeah, so shout out the NFL for bringing back slavery and taking black men on boats to their white owners. Yeah, so that's our sports updates. Let's see. Okay. So we have our impeachment trial going on. What are your thoughts on this so far, Merle?
Well,
Besides it's
your typical
ahead.
partisan, the Republicans are going to do what they do. The Democrats are going to say what they say. The sad part is ultimately when it's all over with, they're not going to find him guilty. So we've wasted millions of tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars of the American people's hard-earned money, and Congress isn't doing the job of the American people. That's the real sad part, because nothing's getting done, which could be good. So it depends on how you look at it. Maybe this is a good thing.
That's true. The government not passing any kind of new bills or laws, I'm okay with that. But
Right.
they're still collecting a check to, like, that's like saying, well, I'm glad that my kid isn't, ruining everything, isn't painting on the walls. Well, no, but that, like, don't say I just want the bad behavior. So Congress, yes, you're right. They're not doing their job, which is good, but that's also bad because we're paying them money to not suck. Right. But yeah, it's kind of funny. Just, man, on Twitter and on Facebook, just the absolute partisanship. And that's one thing I was going to bring up before we went live here. There's just so much news nowadays that you can't focus on anything. And it's just the 24-hour news cycle is like now down to a 3-hour news cycle. You can see things that are trending that are just the biggest deal ever, and the world's going to come. Look at Iran. Just a couple weeks ago,
yeah,
we were all concerned about World War III.
Right.
We thought the world was coming to an end. The president was the worst. And less than 3 weeks later, we're on to new things. It's not a big deal. It's back to impeachment or it's back to this. So it's hard to kind of siphon through the facts and through the accusations when you're constantly being barraged with stuff. But yeah, I've watched maybe about 15 minutes of the impeachment hearings. I didn't watch any of the GOP or the president's defense today. I watched some of the Democrats because I want to know what they have to say about the president. And, hey, did he do some shady stuff? I want to know. And when I listen to the evidence, and that's the cool thing about being somebody who hates Democrats and Republicans about equally, I'm able to listen to the Peter Schiff and all his buddies and say, hey, man, if Trump's doing some shady stuff, I want to know if he's going behind the back of the American people. Yes, let's hold him accountable. But I'm also evidence-based, and you don't see it. And what's sad is, when you spend years and years, as Washington has, scratching each other's back, then when you want to be taken serious, nobody takes you serious. You don't have, the American public is sick of it. They don't care. They don't believe anybody, the Republicans or the Democrats. So I don't know who they poll when they do these polls, but it's just not true. But man, you jump on Twitter during this stuff and it is a bleep show. It's crazy, man. Just people get so worked up, man. I have like maybe 4 or 5 people I follow on Twitter who are all super leftist liberals, and they just every time I get on Twitter, their entire lives are wrapped up with the president of the United States, and it makes me sad. It can't be good for your health to spend that much time and energy focusing on the president, and it's crazy how you take each side, like you said, partisan at its finest, man. It's and the House they did their thing. And then it went to the Senate, and then he's going to get acquitted. And because, they pick sides, they don't look at the truth. They just pick sides. So well, that is the good thing about social media and the news is now this thing is like openly. Everybody understands that they don't care about the truth. And they're all partisan hacks. And everybody's starting to find that out. So that is the good thing about it.
It is. Yeah. Well, you said talking about people can't be healthy. I truly believe Trump derangement syndrome is a real syndrome. Because people are just so I think I said this before. The man could crip a gold brick and hand it out to homeless, and people wouldn't like it. So it's just no. He did a good thing. He was the first president who ever went to a pro-life rally. I'm a big pro-lifer. I believe unborn children have constitutional rights here in America. But he does some good things, and some people can't see past it. Now he does some really crappy things, and some people can't see past it, right? I mean, I keep telling all my Republican friends, yeah, your president has done some good things, my president, but can we ask him to start working on the deficit now? Because, I mean, it's still rolling out of control, but nobody cares in the Republican Party now because he's spending it on what they want him to spend it on. So I want you to control it, because now it's over, what, $22 trillion. So,
it's tripled almost since he's taken over. And what you hear is, well, you gotta spend money to make money. And I'm just like, man, the government is not a business. Where do you guys get off that the government is a business and needs to spend money to make money? It's not the government's job to make money. And it's disgusting when people, just as much as my liberal friends who refuse to acknowledge the president for doing anything good, my Republican friends, my conservative friends are just as bad, and they just nothing that the man could do. And Trump said it best. He could go out and shoot a man on Fifth Avenue and not lose a vote.
Right.
And it's true, because he just jumped over while this impeachment stuff's going on. Just another $8 billion weapons deal to Saudi Arabia and Qatar and the United Arab Emirates. So when in a year or so, when Iran or the Taliban or Syria, when they get some weapons that they got from Saudi Arabia, because they don't care. Saudi Arabia just buys our weapons and they sell it to the highest bidder. They don't care. So when American troops are killed in a year or so, and they say, well, why'd this happen? And everybody rallies around another war drum or another signal of foreign interference, we can just say, hey, where are they getting these weapons? Why is this stuff happening? So, you gotta say what's good and what's bad. But yeah, enough about impeachment. That stuff's stupid. What was your thoughts on the Virginia rally over the Second Amendment this week? That was pretty interesting.
It was. I wish I could have been there to support, my fellow Second Amendment advocates. I mean, I used to live in Northern Virginia, so for 10 or 12 years, I still got friends who live there. But I thought it was nice that
did you know anybody who went?
The guy that I know, I don't know anybody directly that I know of who went. Most of the people I know had stuff to do. None of the people that I live there, at least they didn't put it on their social media. So, but I thought it was interesting that, the news was making it to be out, it's going to be violent and, it's a bunch of white dudes. But if you look, I mean, I'm members of several different Facebook groups, and one of them is a LGBTQ Second Amendment group. And a lot of those, a lot of the people from that community were there. There were a lot of black men and women who were there. I mean, there were a lot of Asians. Statistically, based on what I seen, it looked like there was equal representation from the different, people groups and things. So, and what I was really interested, I don't know, did you see there was an article that talked about, they compared this to like, some leftist movement where when the lefties, after they leave, it's like a mess, but these people, from the Second Amendment movement here in Virginia area, they cleaned up after themselves.
I did. I saw that. And that was very exciting to see. They said they were gathering the trash to send it to their governor, Mr. Nordstrom, as a present, which I thought was funny. So, but yeah, it was, I don't know. So over the last few years, it seems like the right are starting to adopt some of the things that the left uses as a tactic. Before, it was always stick to your guns, stick to your morals, stick to this, what you think is right versus wrong, and don't stoop to their level. But they're starting to kind of do that. And I don't know. And when I say that, what I mean is when the media says, oh, it's a white supremacy rally, and then you've got these Facebook pages or these Twitter feeds and these gun groups posting pictures with black folks and gay folks and trans folks, all these people saying, no, look, like they're here too. They're here too. They know that they're there. But I feel like when you march out your black folks and your minorities, it makes you almost look like, see, look, this isn't it. No, don't make it about that. Make it about the guns. They know what the problem is. They know that Americans of all colors and religions support that. So I thought it was interesting to see, the NRA and these different groups march out different sectors of minorities to get photo ops with them. And it's turned into all of politics. All of politics has turned into a he said, she said, look what he did, tattletale. Yeah, but look, I have a black friend, so I can't be racist. And look, you can't do this, you can't do that. And it's getting really weird, and it's hard to decipher. But I did love that, it was a peaceful rally. And that's what I've never met a gun rights owner who intends to harm anybody. That's they're law-abiding citizens, literally. That's why they have no problem owning a gun or carrying a gun, because they recognize that there's a real evil in the world, and they want to be prepared to protect themselves or their family or friends. They're not looking for any trouble. So I see people at the grocery store in the past. I've seen them with guns on their hips, and I've never felt so safe picking out celery and broccoli, Merle. Because bam, that guy's prepared, man. He's not going around flinging it around trying to hurt somebody. So good job, man. I'm going to hide behind you and these avocados, and you take the guy out. I'll throw some potatoes at him and you shoot him.
Right.
So let's see. What else? Did you see Mr. Peanut was declared deceased?
Yeah, I don't understand the marketing ploy behind that. I mean, Mr. Peanut's been a staple in Americana for well over 40 years. So I don't know if they think, this next generation isn't going to appreciate Mr. Peanut, but I don't quite understand that whole marketing ploy that they got going on there.
Well, it was from, apparently scientists have revealed that peanuts are now, they're not a nut, they're a legume. That's correct. Legume.
Yeah, they are not a nut. Yes.
So they are, that's their kind of, maybe they're going to debut Miss Legume, so that they can have equal representation, because Mr. Peanut and his monocle was super patriarchal. In fact, I saw a lady trying to buy some honey roasted peanuts last week, and an old white man slapped it out of his hand. And he said, "Those aren't for you. Get out of here, Miss Legume.
Take your peanut."
So, that's right. Take your peanut and leave. Let's see. A Wisconsin man was arrested after it was discovered that he mixed his mother's cremated remains with his marijuana and sold them to people. So
was he arrested for the marijuana or for mixing the ashes with the marijuana?
I don't know. I don't know if it was like, what's the gross thing of a corpse, but I guess it's not a corpse.
Not a corpse cremated at that point, right?
Yeah. So I guess it was just for selling weed. But he was rolling up joints of his cremated mother and selling them to people. And man, that's just, that would be so horrible. I would be so sad if that happened to me.
I'm going to say he's got mental issues, because that just is not something a stable person would do.
It's something a college age kid would do. And he was 21 years old. They'd be sitting around playing video games and roll one up, and they'd be like, "Dude, my mom was such a bee. Let's roll up some of her ashes and sell them to people."
It's disgusting.
Let's see. Martin Luther King was last Monday, or was it the Monday before?
It might have been
the Monday before.
I think it's the Monday before.
Okay, yeah. Celebrated Martin Luther King, a staple in the civil rights movement here in America. I thought it was ironic that the FBI was tweeting out stories about how they loved him and honored him. But while he was alive, the FBI
was investigating him.
Was investigating him and setting him up and saying he was an evil human being. So how we forget things so quick.
Hey, they evolved. They've evolved over the years.
That's true. You know what? I'm not going to judge them. They have evolved.
They've evolved.
Yes. Did you see the people of Puerto Rico were carrying a guillotine to the governor's office?
Well, so in their defense, a lot of aid has been sent to them, but they haven't received it. So a lot of corruption in the Philippines.
Not the Philippines, Puerto Rico.
I mean, Puerto Rico. Why'd you say the Philippines?
Yes. Did I say the Philippines?
I thought you did. Puerto Rico.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Puerto Rico. There's some videos that you can find them. There was people, they were carrying a guillotine to the governor's mansion. And because it was discovered that the governor of Puerto Rico, the government essentially, was hiding aid in warehouses of food and water and supplies. They were just stocked up in warehouses, rotting away. And when that was discovered, the people of Puerto Rico built a guillotine and carried it on their shoulders like some bosses through the streets down to the governor's mansion. Now, I don't think they stormed the mansion and cut his head off. I did not see any news stories. I'm pretty sure I would have saw that. But you know what? America needs some of that kind of spirit. We should, we need to build some guillotines and carry them to our local officials and just drop them off at the door.
Right. Yeah.
Just let them know that we know how to do it and there's more of us than you. So yeah, and that you think about the news stories a couple years ago. Everybody was mad at Donald Trump for not giving aid and cutting aid to Puerto Rico during hurricanes, and it turns out that the aid was there, but this story is never covered, so it's never cleared up. Now it's just, he's a racist and he doesn't like brown people. Well, no, we sent the same amount that we always do. It's just they were hoarding it for political reasons. So. Yeah, shout out the people of Puerto Rico, man. Right. Shove him in that guillotine and do some work. Merle, the Pentagon spent $4.6 million on lobster tails and crab legs in 1 month.
Nice.
Yes. So I
want some of that.
I just hate them. Yeah. Mail me some lobsters. Mail me some crab legs, dude. I'm not saying that I don't see what you're doing. They're delicious, but share. So yes, our Pentagon, they spent $4.6 million on lobster tails and crab legs in 1 month. 1 month. A new study came out. So if you wonder what our deficit's going towards, it's going towards delicious lunches and dinners, essentially. So it's tax season. So when you're filing your taxes, remember that we're selling weapons to Saudi Arabia so that we can get crab legs, but you don't get them. Peter Schiff and Ted Cruz will be eating crab legs, laughing at the American people. Let's see. Okay. Libya. We went to Libya back with Obama and took out Gaddafi. And ever since then, things have gotten really bad. And that was, the classic clip of Hillary Clinton saying, we came, we saw, he died. And now in Libya right now, they're having open slave markets on YouTube, streamed live. But even worse, Libyan slaves are now being sold as organ donors on the black market. So it's crazy, man. I'm worried about the Bengals drafting Joe Burrow, and there's people in a part of this world that have to seriously consider not being sold just for their organs, man. How is that possible in 2020, Merle?
Yeah, I know. Sad. Very sad.
It is sad.
Gaddafi had to go, but it always seems like, we got to come up with a better strategy, because it always seems like when we take out someone, right? I mean, what's the saying? Better the enemy you know than the enemy you don't know. And I mean, we experienced the same thing when we went into Iraq, right? And we got Saddam Hussein. It's just, these are bad people, and I'm all about taking bad people out, but we got to have better follow through and think about these things. And
I think that's a good point you bring up. I say before we go to war anymore, or before we take out a foreign leader who's doing bad, who's killing his own people, who's a bad human and deserves to die, we should have elections here in America for who's going to take over for that country. So. Like when we killed Gaddafi, we could have had, the Rock jump in and like, hey, Rock, you've been nominated to fix Libya, or Alex Trebek, or Oprah, or Kid Rock, or Eminem, or Drew Bledsoe, or Peyton Manning. Let's elect somebody so that once we kill that person, now this guy's in charge and he's going to make decisions, rather than just killing them and leaving. I feel like that's kind of a bad thing to do.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. Prince Harry, him and old Meghan Markle, they're leaving the royal family, and they said they're going to move to Canada. And did you see what Justin Trudeau said?
No, I did not. What did he say?
He said, sorry, but technically you're our bosses, and right now you're not allowed to live in Canada. So they can no longer be citizens of Canada, because technically England, the UK, is still in charge of Canada's laws. So, yeah, if you're part of like a monarchy or something, you're not allowed to live in a country that you rule over. Yeah, so I thought that was interesting. So now they're going to be forced to either America or Mexico, I guess, or maybe they stay in Europe and Italy or something. But yeah, Prince Harry rolled out with Miss Merkel, and they're bouncing.
They're bouncing. Wow. Well,
and I don't know why people still care about the royal family. It's kind of weird.
I don't either. Me too.
Okay, so Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren and Joe Rogan. Did you see this clip over the last week? During the last debate, Elizabeth Warren said that Bernie Sanders said that women could never be president. And then a hot mic picked up them after the debate in a nice little argument calling each other liars. And then Joe Rogan came out this week and endorsed Bernie Sanders, kind of. He didn't really endorse him. He said he would vote for him over the other candidates. So I think my prediction is you're seeing a lot of attacks on Bernie and his camp and his ideas. So just like in 2016, the DNC is going to rob Bernie Sanders of his nomination, and it will be given away to, I'm going to say, either Elizabeth Warren or Joe Biden, because they both will follow the script of screwing the American people. Now, not saying that Bernie wouldn't, but this facade of the Democrats hating Donald Trump because he's dangerous is not true. It never has been, just like the Republicans and Obama. The Democrats just a couple weeks ago signed a record spending deal to give Donald Trump more power as far as bombs and military and all this stuff. So the military industrial complex is owned by both parties, and they're impeaching Donald Trump and for saying he's dangerous, while also giving him billions of dollars to spend on war and on goods. So I don't know if I think somebody's a dictator, Merle, I'm not going to just give them trillions of dollars to spend. But if they're going to keep the facade of spreading freedom and keeping our pockets stuffed, then I will do that. Whereas Elizabeth Warren and Joe Biden will do that. I think Bernie Sanders and Tulsi Gabbard, that's why they're not going to get the nomination at all, because they will not fall in line with the military-industrial complex. So that's my prediction. I think Bernie's going to get shafted. He's going to get that the old banana in the tailpipe from the DNC again, and because they just don't want him, good or bad. I don't necessarily agree with the guy, but I think it's sad that he has been honest. He has stuck by his ideas for decades, and the party that he represents and the party that he cares about continually screws him over. So it's kind of sad. It just shows you the fact that money is where it's at. It's all about money and power and the spreading of poop from our government. Okay, so Merle, what else you got going on, brother? How long have you been going here?
Wait, almost an hour, but let me ask you this. Have you been following, because the news cycle is so focused on the president and impeachment and how bad he is. Have you been following the news that's going on in China in reference to the coronavirus?
Yes, I seen Hong Kong declared a state of emergency earlier this morning. They're having some problems because China's not giving them medical attention because Hong Kong is currently protesting. So, but yeah, man, I haven't read about what exactly it is. I've more like classic American, just kind of laughed at the memes.
Right.
But I know that we've had a couple cases here. We had one in Seattle this week, spreading. So what exactly is it?
Well, so it's a respiratory virus. It's like what is it? I think it's MSM is what it's called. And there's another version of it. From what I've read, it's one of those things that if you have a healthy immune system, it's kind of like the flu, right? However, for young children and older adults, it can be dangerous. So, maybe that's why you're not hearing the hysteria, at least, on the media, but right. China's taking it seriously. And again, you can't trust the Chinese because they're trying to quarantine a city. I forget the city's name, of like 11 million people. How you do that, I don't know. I don't think it's possible, but the Chinese are taking it serious. But I was talking to someone at work the other day and I said, we need to take a page out of the Japanese playbook where, you know, when you see any video footage, you'll see the Japanese are wearing the medical masks, right? And when I was over in Japan, I asked someone about that, and yes, it is so they don't get sick, but more it's a respect thing that if you're sick, it's not to get other people sick. And I'm like, you know, I mean, I think we should take a page, especially when you're talking about infectious diseases like the coronavirus. I mean, you know, if you're sick, hey, put on a mask. I mean, yeah, you look goofy, but you know, you might save, you know, some people from going through some troubles if you keep that to yourself. So that's why I tell my daughter, wash your hands, because I think that'll help a lot. But it's going to be interesting because, like I said, I've only seen bits and pieces of what's been online about the coronavirus, and because it was coming out of China. Again, I don't trust the Chinese. I mean, there could be an ulterior motive in this whole thing with, you know, quarantining a city of 11 million people. But yeah, I'm surprised it hasn't received as much, you know, news at all.
Right. I think it will once the impeachment stuff wears off. It'll be like Ebola, you know, get everybody hysterical, you know, get some people ramped up about things, why they're doing stuff in the background. You know, that'll be the smoke screen going on.
Yeah.
Much like the impeachment hearing is. So much like Iran was, and much like Russia was, and Stormy Daniels, and every little thing that comes out, it's always, you know, whenever there's something dominant, whenever CNN and Fox News and MSNBC, whenever they're covering the same thing, you can bet that there's something else going on behind the scenes.
Right.
Okay, so Merle, you got anything else? Anything else you got on your mind?
Not that I know of that we can't talk about here in After Dark, since we've been going on for about an hour now. So I think we should probably move on to our average shows After Dark.
Let's do it. AJ, AD, son.
All right, here we go.
Have an after dark. Maybe I'll get a t-shirt made. You know, just to let everybody know where we're at in the show.
All
so
right,
yes,
we're there.
all right, we're here. So what's been going on, Merle? What do you got planned for this week? Anything on your mind? Oh, and real quick, anybody still watching or people see this? If you have any topics you want us to discuss, I have a bunch of friends, and I'm sure Merle knows some people who he could get on. If you want to have him on as a guest, if there's any cool topics you guys think about, whether it's technology or science or politics or music, whatever. You know, I'm not a very musical guy, but we can always go down that road. So yeah, give us some comments and some feedback of any topics you would like us to explore. Okay. So Merle, what's on your mind, dude? What are you doing tonight since you're all by yourself?
Man, you know,
you're going to get caught up on some TV?
I think so, but you know, I think I'm going to watch a movie. I might, you know, go old school. I've been watching a lot of the Star Wars over and over again. So I may put in Star Wars and watch that. I mean, I got to be at church at 8:00 tomorrow because they have asked me against their better judgment to be involved in a skit. So I got to go practice that tomorrow morning at 8. So that should be interesting. They did allow me.
What's your role?
Well, so at our church, and if you want to come out and bring Mary, come on out. Not this Sunday, but next Sunday, we're going to be at the Centerville High School for our annual Chili Bowl. So we're going to have
Super
around.
Bowl. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, so we have about we're shooting for like 50 different chilies. And so after the service, you can sample the chili, and there's some some desserts and things like that. It's something that actually Renee started this several years ago when we first became a church, and it's grown to such a large size where we can't do it at our church. So anyway, I'm going to be supposedly the doofus who's setting it up, thinking that it's happening like tomorrow, and they're like, "Hey, Merle, it's not till next Sunday, and it's not here.
Wow.
It's at yeah." But
they hired you to play the fool.
pretty much. I mean, but they're allowing me to ad lib, so that could be dangerous. I mean, they know me. I've done it before. I mean, and so obviously I haven't crossed any lines.
Great if you slipped in a Epstein didn't kill himself joke into the chili ad lib.
That would be so awesome, but I would get in so much trouble. You should do it,
and you should have somebody film it. Have Renee film it so that you can do it, and we'll play it on the show next week.
I would be if my non-denominational church participated in excommunications, I would be excommunicated from the non-denominational.
You could sell it off as like, Jesus died for our sins, and Jesus did allow himself to be sacrificed. He wasn't Jeffrey
Epstein. Right.
Yeah, just sneak it in there. I think that would be great.
Yeah.
Nice. So the Chili Bowl. Okay. Well, we might have to come out there because you know what? I've been kind of a soup connoisseur this fall and winter season. Yes, man, nice. I've got a chicken noodle soup down. The recipe's amazing, but I had some white chicken chili. I was never a big fan of it in the past, but now I am. So, might have to come out and sample some of those chilies. That sounds like a good time.
Is chili a soup? Did we have this conversation before?
We have had this discussion, and I don't think chili is not a soup in my opinion.
Right, I think that's what we did. We had that. That's what I
thought.
Yeah,
people said it's more of a stew, if you will, kind of a concoction. It's not a soup is runny in my opinion. Okay. So, and I don't think, although I've had some runny chili, I guess maybe it's that way. But
your mom is saying they have to forgive me. So I'm still. I mean,
that's true. That's a great point.
That would be a great.
Hey, don't be scared.
No, I'm scared.
Why would you be scared? First of all, you're going to get a bunch of laughs. Nobody would be disappointed. I mean, why would anybody be mad?
I don't know.
Merle, don't let me down, man.
I don't know. We could possibly lose our nonprofit if the wrong people got,
That's true. There might be some agents of
non-politics. That's right.
Yeah. There you go. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, we don't want to lose our tax returns for the truth. We need. we don't want to lose our tax exempt for the truth, Merle.
That's right.
That wouldn't be very patriotic at all.
Where's my morals?
That's right. You would hire Epstein's lawyer. That's true. I forgot.
I would hire his lawyer. Yeah. What are you going to do? Because it's now. Are you batching it tonight? Your daughter's not home. Is she staying all night or?
She is staying the night at a friend's right now. Although she is lighting your boy up on Messenger. So she does not want to stay, and she wants to come home, and she misses Daddy, and she's pulling out all the cards. But I'm supposed to go to a fish fry for my buddy's softball team. So
gotcha. Yeah,
we're going to go over there and. Have some fish and have a couple beers and do some gambling,
Right. Good American stuff.
Way.
Yeah.
That's
right.
Mary
Ellen, you're staying all night.
I know, man. I really want to just let her stay there. So, poker, there are poker hands to be played and blackjack and roulette wheels to spin. So, I'm supposed to go do that. I'll probably go over there for a little bit.
Right. That's cool. Sweet. Yeah, that's fun.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So who you got in the Super Bowl? The Chiefs or the 49ers?
I really don't have a dog in the fight. I don't really care. I'm not a big NFL guy. I'm starting to get more into the NFL as more of my Buckeyes that I've been following over the last, several years are playing. But I mean, right now I could care less. So I don't know. What about you?
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of want to root for the Niners because of Joey or Nick Bosa plays there. But I really like Patrick Mahomes. He's a cool dude. So I'll probably be rooting for the Chiefs. You know, the Niners have gotten – the Chiefs haven't been in a Super Bowl since, I believe, Super Bowl IV. So, you know, their fan base has been a little bit sadder. I tend to go for the fan base that hasn't won in the longest. So I'm going to root for the Chiefs, although – man, I saw a bunch of ESPN writers this week saying that they weren't going to root for the Chiefs just because of the fact that they're culturally appropriating Elizabeth Warren's people. So, you know, their fans, they said their fans dress up in headdresses and they do the tomahawk chop. So it's just, Merle, it's not appropriate, man. It's so inconsiderate to have your football team named after an Indian leader. A chief. So, yeah, a lot of people on ESPN, there's some articles coming out saying that, you know, root for the 49ers because they're more politically correct, even though they hired Chinese people and put them in mountains and blew them up to get gold. So, but the Chinese man is no longer, he's not very high on the totem pole. Whereas, dude, the American Indian, the Native American, I'm sorry, not even that. What is it now?
I can't keep up with all the
whatever. Yeah, they are top notch, dude. You can't get that's the worst. So
that's crazy.
But I don't know. I'm excited because it's, you know, the number one offense versus the number one defense. So that'll be a fun game to watch. Hopefully.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So all right. So any
brother.
any particular Star Wars you're gonna watch tonight?
I don't know. I think I'm just gonna roll the dice right here and just, you know.
Oh, 1 through 6. That's right.
1 through 6. So we'll see what happens. If like 1, 2, or 3 comes up, I'll probably roll again.
Yeah, a re-roll. That's right.
I'll do a re-roll. But I don't know.
Well, if it was up to me, I hope you get The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite.
Yeah. I can watch 3, 4, 5. So I don't know. We'll see. But
all right, brother. Well, you have yourself a great evening.
You too.
Go pop some popcorn and enjoy your movie.
Yeah.
And,
be safe out there.
Yeah, be safe out there. We love you guys. Smile at some people, and remember that we're all on the same team. So we'll see you next week. And vote on our poll question on Friday nights or Saturday nights because we want some input and some feedback on which would be better from our people and some content.
That's some of our best content.
That's exactly. That's some of our best content. I've noticed that whenever I post a conspiracy theorist meme, nobody likes it.
Right. But we start talking about poop, man, and we get blowed up.
Hey, dude, poop it keeps
poop
you
sells.
honest.
Poop sells,
right.
man.
Poop sells.
Fecal matter. All right, buddy. See you later.
All right, man. See you next week. See you, everybody. Bye. Thank you for tuning in. We love you.
All right. We're out.